Austin Brown, and I want to give a high five, a fist bump, a shout out to all the listeners tuned in to this motivational channel. Welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about trauma for a second, but before we do, I just want you to look at this area as my brother and what's here in Hawaii. I'm surrounded by mountains, I'm surrounded by beautiful water, and just amazing things here in Hawaii. I was watching a movie the other day, one of my favorites is the Titanic. Everyone perhaps has seen this particular movie. There's a scene in the movie where they dressed in their fine suits and bow ties, and women are looking amazing in their gowns and dresses. They're dancing to some amazing music. If I was to make this a 21st century scene, I would say they were dancing to Duke Ellington or Cab Calloway or Charlie Parker or Sidney Bechet, just having an amazing time eating some incredible food. But while they were dancing and having a great time, something was getting ready to take place that they did not know. I imagine the captain, he looked outside the ocean and he saw this particular iceberg and he miscalculated what to expect. So as he looked at the iceberg, if we were to look at a particular iceberg, he saw something at this view, but did not know what was underneath the surface to realize that the iceberg was much larger than what he saw at the top. You realize trauma is like that as well. Oftentimes we see what's at the top of a person's life. We see an individual acting out. Some of our soldiers or sailors or airmen get specific DUIs or get into trouble or domestic violence or all kinds of things perhaps that's causing them to act out. While underneath the surface, if you were to go deeper underneath the surface of their lives, you see trauma. Perhaps you see childhood traumas. Maybe you see different types of attachment things where they didn't have individuals in their lives to love them as they needed to be loved. Or perhaps you have seen breakups or divorces or stresses or financial problems or all kinds of things that may have taken place in their lives that caused them to act out. That's trauma. The mind is powerful. The mind knows how to cause the body to shut down or the memory to shut down to keep us alive. No one can automatically go through different kinds of traumatic events without going through some kind of difficulty. As I close, I just want to say those who perhaps may be experiencing different kinds of things in their lives and don't know what's happening, I recommend, number one, that you talk to somebody. Number two, I also recommend that perhaps you start writing about certain things. The reason why I encourage writing or journaling, because that's also bilateral stimulation. Those who may not know bilateral stimulation, it comes out of this scientific modality called EMDR, eye movement desensitization processing. In other words, it causes the mind, the left and the right hemisphere of the brain to begin to process traumas that has taken place in the body where the mind has tried to forget. So I'm going to pause there, and I want to come back to part two in the beginning or in the future as we talk about how to deal with different kinds of traumas. But I want to say thank you for joining me. I'm your host, C. Austin Brown, and I welcome you to this particular channel. Stay tuned.